Hello, Carrie Ann.
Miss, why is it a picture of a kid crying?
Why is your picture of your kid crying? I don't know. I think those are from family. I don't know. Yeah, which Casita was here. And guess what? Literally, they were playing the virtual, and I didn't know where he was. And I find him under the laptop.
Under?
He was like in dust and stuff. It was like awful. Like in first period, I was trying to find him.
Hi, Miss.
Hello,
I'm
Elise.
sorry, guys. I'm like, me and Carrie Ann.
It's only you guys?
No, that's
Okay. Hey, wait, who else is coming today? Because I know there's, I think, two
I don't know. Let's see who shows up.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember
I know
who
Clara.
that trick.
I know Clara and Michael are on the trip.
Okay. And maybe Vanessa and Jeremy.
Yeah, Jay on the trip.
Do you want on the trip?
I just see with myself.
Okay, so. Okay. This,
You see, Miss, I was going to read yesterday, but I totally forgot.
it's okay.
So, yeah.
So, we might do story time because it's just like not that much of it. So that way they will have to finish chapter 1 over the weekend, and you guys will just don't have to worry about anything over the long weekend because we'll read it in class.
So, what, wait, y'all giving us no work. Every teacher giving us no work over the weekend for us to come back.
I mean, it's work. It's just like you'll get to do it in class today.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the do now. So we started Of Mice and Men yesterday. Do you guys have your copies on you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you about 2 minutes. You don't have to write anything down. I just want you to sort of like look at your text and refresh your memory. Where is Of Mice and Men set? I want you to think of the time. I want you to think of the place. I want you to think of the atmosphere. You have 2 minutes. Look at the first page, and then we'll read through it after. Okay, so where is Of Mice and Men set? What's Yeah, Soledad. Which is a city in California, but are we in Soledad proper, or are we sort of like nearby? Nearby. Are we in a city? Are we in a country? Like, are we in the countryside, or where are we?
South.
Yes.
I think like the countryside.
Yeah, countryside. What gives us that idea?
We talk about the fresh and green.
Yeah, the mountains. We don't exactly have mountains in the city. What kind of animals do we see?
Rabbits.
Yeah, rabbits, a lizard, raccoons. Okay, what time period is this? This opening paragraph doesn't tell us that, but what did we learn a couple days ago? Yeah, near the Great Depression was in the 90s. In the 1930s. And what atmosphere are we getting? What vibe are we getting, even just from this opening paragraph? Yeah, like calm, close to nature.
It's kind of giving
I'm sorry.
it's kind of giving like spring.
Yeah. Spring. We know like what time of year it is. Spring or summer.
It's spring.
Yeah, probably spring. So a book setting and how the author introduces it is important because it can ultimately contribute to some of the book's themes or central ideas. We talked about this yesterday. So knowing that Of Mice and Men is set in the Great Depression on a farm in California, I said summer, could be spring. Probably more spring because more things are growing. What can we predict some of the themes will be? We kind of get like a calm vibe at first, but we also know, okay, this is set during a very tumultuous period of American history, and it's a farm. So like on the one hand, we can think of it as peaceful, right? But on the other hand, there's a lot of work that goes into being a farm. So what can you sort of predict some of the themes might be?
Hardworking.
Poverty?
No, I said hardworking.
Yeah, like hard work. Absolutely. Maybe usefulness. Yeah. The main characters, they're not just like having fun messing around on a farm. They have to be useful people, probably. What are some other themes that we think might? Just a guess.
Hunger.
Huh?
Hunger.
Hunger. Yeah. Knowing especially the time period in which it's set. Poverty. So we might want to keep that in mind. Maybe these will be themes, maybe they won't. We'll see. Okay. How far have we gotten in Of Mice and Men so far? Who's read past page 7, honestly? I'm not gonna get.
Finished page 7.
You read to page 7?
Yeah.
Okay. And Anais, you, okay, cool. So, here's what we're gonna do. Here's some vocabulary. Envision, juncture, narrative, and recumbent. Here are just, we can take a look at some of the words. Hello, Jaylene.
Hello, Miss.
How far did you get up to in Of Mice and Men?
I wasn't years old.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you a copy of the book from the back, and we're going to get started. So just as a heads up, these are words that we will encounter through the story. We know narrative. We just wrote narratives. Recumbent means lying down. Hello, Vanessa. Okay, thank you. So, we're going to read the rest of chapter 1. For those of us, for Jaylene and Anais, I'm going to do a small group and do a read aloud. Vanessa and Carrie Ann, you guys pair up and you keep going. So that's what we're going to do, okay? Cool beans. I'm going to give us like 40 seconds to get situated, sit near each other.
Wait, Miss, how many pieces of evidence do you need for this paper?
I would say 3 to 4 of your own pieces.
Okay.
And then just you can hand that in. Jaylene, this is what we worked on yesterday. You can complete it over the weekend.
Do you have a book already? No. Thank you. Oh.
Miles, how softly hold them. The Salinas River drops in close to the hillside bank. Okay, nice job, everybody. The water is warm too, for it has slipped twinkling over the yellow sands in the sunlight before reaching zero. On one side of the river, the golden foothill slopes curve up to the strong and rocky Javelin Mountains. But on the valley side, the water is lined with trees. Willows scratch with the rain every spring, carrying in their lower leaf junctures the green of winter's spring. And sycamores mottled with white compass leaves and grains. On the sandy bank of the tree, the leaves lie deep and so crisp that a lizard makes a great scattering if he wants to. Rabbits come up the brush to sit on the sandy visiting, and the damp flats are covered with night tracks of reptiles, and the spread heads its legs from the branches, and split wedge starts to come to drink. So, just off the top. What writing strategy is that an example of? Imagery. Awesome. Sorry, I'm just moving this for grad school.
Sure we are. If you got it, some bed I like to play routines. Oh my god.
There is a path for the willows and among the
I'll
sycamores.
give you a match when you get
A path beaten hard by
Then we'll
boys
need to be
coming down
something.
from their benches
Semi-side.
to swim in
I like these we catch up.
deep pools,
Well, we got
and beaten hard by tramps who come
You go
weirdly
get
down
wood
the
and
jungle near
you go
water.
around. It'll be dark.
In front of the low horizontal bench, the giant sycamores, you guys know what the sycamore is?
George Labor.
It's a giant tree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge tree.
Oh, yeah.
There's an ash pile made by many fires. The wind is once soothed by many breezes. So we're just gonna, what type of, what writing strategy do you see a lot of here?
He carried one spoon with a stick in his hand. Alright.
And what's being described here? Is it the setting, is it the characters, is it it's the setting? Think about, as we read, I want you guys to think about, like, why does Steinbeck introduce the setting as author? Introduce the setting for the characters. Because that's not, yeah, it's a set of scenes. Keeps going, 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 going. And she does a very good job setting the scene. I want you to think about the relationship that the characters have to the land. Yeah. Evening of a hot day started with a little wind moving along the leaves. The shade climbed up the hills toward the top. On the same banks, the rabbits sat as quietly as little gray sculptured stones. And then from the direction of the state highway came the sound of footsteps on the crisp sycamore. The rabbits hurried noiselessly for cover. A stilted heron labored up into the air and pounded down. For a moment, the place was lifeless, and then two men emerged from the path and came onto the opening by the green. They had walked in a single file down the path, and even in the open, one stayed behind the other. Both were dressed in denim trousers and in denim coats with brass buttons. Both wore black, shapeless hats, and both carried tight blanket rolls slung over their shoulders. The first man was small and quick, dark of face, with restless eyes and sharp, strong features. Every part of him was defined. Small, strong hands, slender arms, thin and long arms. Behind him walked his opposite, a huge man, shapeless of face, with large, pale eyes, with wide, sloping shoulders. And he walked heavily, dragging his feet the way a bear drags his hands. His arms did not swing at his sides, but hung loosely. I want you to pause here, and you can write in these books. You can do anything you want. Okay. There's a little paragraph right here. In that little paragraph, I want you to underline one example of like a type of figurative language you see in here. We have imagery, but I want you to find one that isn't this paragraph. The one we just read, they walked single file this way. Okay.
Anyone else do it?
Find an example of a writing strategy that isn't
Because they were so good. I wish we get the rabbit pretty soon. And that was rabbits. and you to be trusted with no lies. God never give you.
So,
I want you to look at this
paragraph
paragraph.
starting with walking a simple
Your honor, they will give you.
I want you to find, one type of figurative language that
It wasn't
isn't.
on the like, the flavor was considered legit from mountain tops and thus came into the valley. And a half darkness came in among the willows and the sycamores. A big heart rose to the surface of the holy coat, air and sank mysteriously into the dark water again. Leaving lightning rays of water over the leaves, places again in little puffs or little cotton blew down.
The first man was small and quick, dark
When
eyed
that was George Strait,
with faceless eyes, sharp like his
George
eyes.
There's
Is it?
very up again.
Personification is meant to give something that isn't presented.
Now you this. Lenny was deathly. Lenny was.
So let's read that a little. Every part of it is defined. Small shrub hands, slender arms, thin and lips. Is that imagery?
The old ash pile of
Yeah. Behind him walked his opposite, a huge man with shapeless face, with large pale eyes with wide, sloping shoulders. And he walked heavily, dragging his feet the way a bear drags his paws. Do we see any figurative language there? Where?
George underlaid the barrel and
Yeah, what is that?
brought out 3 cans of beans. He slipped them on the fire, clothes and nuggets leaves, and not quite touching the food.
Wait, isn't that,
Here's another for his fourth man.
metaphor?
George said.
It's actually a
Then he
symbol,
watched him.
but I get what you mean.
Oh,
Metaphor would be like, yeah,
I
yeah,
like him picture.
because a direct comparison is easy. If he was like, the older man was a bear, like that would be a metaphor. But, so what do we think he's saying? Like, by sort of saying, he's big. And he's being compared to an animal, right? The smaller man is not being compared to an animal. So what kind of Mike is over there? He's saying the big dude, that the smaller guy's weak. Oh, yeah. Maybe the smaller man's weaker.
George went on previously. I got you. You can't keep a job. I can't keep a job and use me every job I get. Just keep shoving forward.
The first man stopped short in the clearing, and the follower nearly ran over him. He took off his hat and wiped the sweatband with his forefinger and snapped the moisture off. His huge companion dropped his blankets and flung himself down and drank from the surface of the green pool. Drank with one gulp, snorting into the water like a horse. The small man stepped nervously beside him. So, let's pause there. Who's leading and who's following? Are you sure? Every part of him was defined. Behind him walked his opposite, a huge man, shapeless. The first man stopped short in the clearing, and the follower ran over him. He took off his hat, wiped the sweatband with his forefinger, and snapped the moisture off. His huge companion dropped his blankets and flung himself down and drank from the surface of the green pool. And where are they? They're outside. So what's the green pool? Is it like a pool like we would have a pool? Yeah. So, the big guy is drinking. Yep. And he's snorting into the water like a horse. He's compared to an animal again there.
What do you want? What do you want?
So what do we think is kind of going on? Yeah, like is he well mannered?
Was right here beside me.
No, maybe he's closer to nature. Maybe, yeah.
But I wanna eat
But
George.
kind of
I leave it all for
yeah.
them. It could cover your beans with it.
The small man stepped nervously beside him. So let's start off on page 3 with Lenny. Who wants to be George? Small dude.
I never get in peace. Let me still know. He looked off into the darkness.
Okay.
George, you want, I should.
You say Lenny.
Oh, Lenny.
He said sharply.
Lenny, for God's sakes.
Well,
Don't drink so
wait,
much.
where did that come
Lenny
from?
continued to snort into the
Well, I
pool,
could, I
doing.
could go off.
It was your best snort.
Someplace I find hate.
The small man leaned over and shook him by the
Sex from
shoulder.
us, if I'm gonna eat.
Lenny,
I
you gotta
find
be
things
slick.
George.
You You gotta be
I'm
sick.
normally supposed to catch up.
You
I leave
gotta
on
be sick
Sunday.
like you was
Nobody
last night.
hurt me.
Lenny dipped his whole head under a hat and wall, and then he sat up on the bank and his hat drips down on his blue coat and ran down his back.
I've been meaning,
That's
if you don't
good.
want me, I can go.
Lenny takes it away, so,
I
David.
can go away.
So I'm gonna,
Mhm.
I say that's good.
Yes,
That's good.
he said.
You drink some, George. Wait.
Sorry, you go.
You drink some George, you take a big drink, a big good drink.
He smiled happily. George unslung his
No,
bundle
look, I was just
and
wondering,
dropped it
because
gently
I want
on
you to
the
stay
bank.
in trouble with mice is you always
I ain't
feel
sure
like-
it's good water.
So what
He
I'll
said.
do then, first chance I
Looks
get,
like
I'll give
scum.
you a thought. Maybe you wouldn't kill it.
Lenny dabbled his big
Better
paw
than
in the
mice.
water.
And you could put it-
Anything notice about that sentence? Mhm. And wiggled his fingers so that the water arose in little splashes. Rings widened across the pool to the other side and came back in. Lenny watched them go.
Look, George,
George knelt beside the pool and drank from his hand with quick swoops.
Tastes alright.
He admitted.
Don't really seem to be running through. You never had a drink water when it ain't running.
He said hopelessly.
Come on, George. Tell me, please, George.
Oh, you drink, sorry.
It's
You
okay.
drink out of the gutter if you wasn't thirsty.
I'll tell you. And
He
then
drew a
we'll
scoop
so-
of water into his face and rubbed it out with his hand, under his chin and around the back of his neck. Then he replaced his hat, pushed himself back in the river, drew up his knees and embraced them.
As
Lenny, who
I
had been watching, imitated George exactly. He
He
pushed himself back, drew up his knees, embraced them, looked over to George to see whether he had done just right. He pulled his hat down a little more over his face the way George's hat was. So let's just see what's there. What's the dynamic between